Alright, Shalom. Before I start, we're going to give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakakwarash, the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect to Akim, Wa'akwath, learning, teaching, and truth and sincerity. Another video through the Spirit, your brother Malak from GMS Detroit. Hey, a little interesting little lesson, right? You got Kanye, what do you say? You got niggas in Paris, and apparently you got niggas in Scotland. As of recently, there's this little trend going around on TikTok and other social media platform of, black people in Scotland, right? Just letting the world be known that they're there. All right. I guess American Negroes were shocked to find out that there's, Southern Kingdom, right? Fellow black people in different parts of Europe, one of them being Scotland. And what this goes to prove, y'all, is that we are the Israelites. What is one of the curses? Well, two of the curses, amongst many, is the fact that we'd be scattered abroad, which occurred. Then also that we would be discontinued from our heritage. We would forget who we are. We would forget our relatives. We would forget any resemblance of our past and culture. Which is why, you had niggas in America completely shocked to know that there were people that look like them and are highly potentially related to them, on that part of the planet. And now, through this truth, we know that he's taught us incorrectly about the Dark Ages. Hey, some of these Jakes there could be, their bloodline could go all the way back to then, and or, some of them are just descendants of slave babies as well, or that moved over, immigrants. Some of their parents could have moved over there in the 50s, 60s, right, when Jake was getting out of Dodge. Nevertheless, the reason why this is such a big deal is because of the fact that we were cut off from our heritage. See, you can take a guy who's East Indian and he can be born and raised in Florida, but he can pull up they have their family tree. He can go back to his great granddad, right? You can take a guy who's from fucking China, right? He can pull up a painting of Qingmong Bing, from the year 400. Well, we don't have that. Why? Because we've been stripped of our heritage according to the prophecies. So let me actually start with this scripture, then we'll come back. Where have we been scattered, y'all? Why do you think this letter starts out like this in James 1? James 1 and 1. James, a servant of the power and of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. The 12 tribes of Israel have been scattered throughout the entire world as a curse for their disobedience to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And it was prophesied that in the lands of these captivities is where we would remember ourselves and return to our Israelite heritage and culture. Let me get this other one real quick. And these very places where we have been scattered are the very places where we will be redeemed from. Jeremiah 23, I'm going to start right at verse 3. It says, "And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again into their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase." So the Heavenly Father scattered his chosen people throughout all parts of the world. And now we're returning to who we are. So let's go get some more clips. Start with this one.
I love you Americans so much. I'm so happy that you're intrigued. Guys, honestly, I love you Americans so much. I'm so happy that you're intrigued to know what it's like to live in Scotland and stuff, and you've found my TikTok and you've found other people's TikToks. So I've seen all your questions and you guys have so much, you are so intrigued to find out so much, so I'll try to answer as much as I can. Probably not in this video, probably in another video or something. But let me just kind of start off by explaining how I'm actually even here. So I was born in 2003, so I'm 22 now. A lot of families were moving to different, dispersed in their countries in those years, but I can't remember, I literally can't mind what was happening during that time. I literally can't remember why so many families were moving and stuff like that. but like I ended up here. But like the thing is, my family were moving about quite a lot around the UK, so like Scotland wasn't like the first initial. Guys, honestly, I love you, America.
So, you know, hey, you can pull a couple things just from her talking. Number one, you know, sound like she said her family came over from the UK, right? But it's interesting to see, you know, we're so used to, you know, she has our appearance, right? But she has that accent, that heavy, you know, accent, right? Also, in the beginning, you know, she said she's so happy that the Americans are taking notice of her. Why is that, y'all? Because the Negro here in America is the top Negro here on the earth. Predominantly Judah, right? We have Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, but we know that the so-called African American man, woman, and child, the descendants of the slaves grabbed over from the West Coast and brought specifically to the Americas, is Judah. And what does it say concerning Judah? Genesis 49, that thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Everybody looks up to men like Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, right? Michael Jordan. You understand what I'm saying? Prominent, you know, men who appear to be Judites on the outside, coming out of where? The Americas, right? And, you know, obviously you have Judah and Benjamin and Levi, you have Benjamin and Levi mixed in there, but Judah is the head tribe for a reason, which is why, you know, them being noticed by Judah is, you know, claim worthy, right? And don't get it twisted, you know, they got demons over there too. Just because she got that accent don't mean she's a holy or a righteous woman. I ain't saying nothing like that. But the fact that our people are dispersed everywhere goes to prove that, once again, y'all, we are the children of Israel. We were completely stripped of our heritage and culture. We've taken on these people's language. We've taken on their apparel, their lifestyle. So of course she's going to have that accent. And so what this does is help you put certain things to mind in scriptures when you read, y'all. This is why, and I got more, this is a whole slideshow. This is why, y'all, when you go to Acts, the 2nd chapter, where were these people coming from? These people who came to keep the high holy day. What does it say? Acts 2 and I want to get at, yep. We'll start at verse 5. Acts 2 and 5. It says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? So here it is, y'all. These were Israelites. They were Jews, Israelites, right? Southern Kingdom, most likely, by nationality. Yet they were from the different lands. But they all, you know, were back for Pentecost, right? You have the 3 high holy days that you have to come back to Jerusalem for. The Feast of Weeks, the Feast of Tabernacles, and the Passover. Feast of Weeks, alternately known as Pentecost, 50. Right, you have a pentagon, meaning 5, pente, right? This is why they were there. And, you know, you have the miracle be done of them being able to hear each other in different languages. Why were they amazed? Why were they amazed at the fact, even though that these guys were all Israelites, why were they amazed at the fact that they were all able to hear each other? Read verse, we're going to pick up at verse 8, y'all. When you're raised up in a different country, you take a guy who's Mexican. If you move him from age 0, if you drop him off in Indonesia, and he's adopted by an Indonesian family, what language is he going to be speaking? Mexican? If you take a guy who's Russian, and you drop him off in the Isles of Fiji, is he going to be speaking Russian? No. Acts 2 and 8. And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born, Parthians and Medes and Elamites, and the dwellers in Mesopotamia, and Judea and Cappadocia, and Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, and Egypt, and in the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians, We do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of the power. So these were Israelites who were born and raised up in these different lands. They were from the land of the Medes, from Parthia, from the land of Elam, from Cappadocia, from the land of Crete, right? Raised up around these heathen, speaking that language. And then the miracle happened to where they could understand each other. And this is the same thing today, y'all. We were dispersed among the Gentiles as a punishment, and we lost our way. Jeremiah 17. I'm sorry, y'all. Jeremiah 17 and 4. It says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knewest not, or knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." We were discontinued from our heritage. The average Negro, Latino, Native American can't tell you who their 3 times great granddaddy is. And so, sometimes a little bit, Northern Kingdom, they might have a little bit more records. But even them, they can't go back. They can't go back far neither. Why? Because they've been here in America so long, they lost all that too, since they came over here, right? The Negroes for sure can't. Most niggas can't tell you who their dad is, let alone their grandfather, great-grandfather, right? Some of us have been blessed to know. Many of us haven't. Other peoples of the world, many of them can if they go to their elders of their family, they can go pull up a family chart, a portrait, the lineage book. The average Negro, Latino, Native American, we do not have that access. Why? Because we're under the curses. We have been stripped from that knowledge of knowing who we formerly are. Which is why to see people that look like you in these obscure places of the planet, Jake is amazed. Because growing up in school, what are you taught? Blacks are from Africa, you're all from Africa. That's what you're taught growing up. You don't know nothing else. That's what you're taught. You're black, you're from Africa. Be happy. And it's not true.
Guys, the entertainment on that last post in the last 24 hours has been crazy. But welcome to Black Scottish TikTok. I'm a slow down so that y'all can understand me. My new transatlantic followers are having a hard time following along, at least that's what they're saying in the comments. So, let me answer some frequently asked questions. Number 1, yes, I am black. Yes, I am Scottish. I am not Sassenach. I am not Irish. I am not Welsh. 43 years born and raised in Scotland. 100% Scotch beef right here. Anyway, I'm not sure how this got to America, me complaining about the weather. But welcome. Black Scottish TikTok isn't just me either. There's a number of Black Scottish creators, so I'm gonna tag some. You can blow up their comment section as well, because the love from the US has been crazy. I'm gonna accept Black Jamie. I've never actually seen Outlander. Don't cancel me for that. But if BookTok decide I'm Black Jamie, the film rights, the book deals, I'll take them all. One thing I will ask, if you're looking for audiobooks, guys, the entertainment.
So, he said 43 years, born and raised. I was in it. Hey, the Prince of Scotland, He said there's plenty of us. I'm going to go to the next one.
Who's calling that shit?
And now this right here, right? Now, you'll look at him, oh, he's dressed funny, right? But remember, this guy wasn't raised in America. So this is Scottish. This is, Scottish apparel, the skirt, kilt type deal, high socks, boots, right? The same way that you growing up here in America, jeans and jersey. When you grow up in different places of the world, you become used to a different form of life. And this is one of the curses, because the only form of life that we're supposed to be used to is our Israelite form of life. This is further proof, y'all. We've been dispersed among the Gentiles, and we've taken on some of their manners and customs, even though we know that Negroes ruled over Europe, right, for 1,000 years. So some of the, we was wearing them things back too, but they don't know that. They've been stripped of that. Everyone's been made to believe that the so-called white man is the sole ruler of Europe for all time, which ain't true, right? Next one.
Obviously seen that Black Scottish TikTok is trending, so I just thought I'd come on here and say hello. And honestly, I'm not shocked that a lot of Americans didn't know that there was black people in Scotland, because even going down south to England with my friends, which just for reference, it's an hour away by flight. You have people going, oh my god, I didn't know there was black people in Scotland. Do you live on a farm? Etc. So,
etc.
Americans are now like, oh my god, there's black people in Scotland. Like, it's just honestly so funny. And it's so nice to see, like, all the Scottish creators coming out, even the non-creators coming on and making TikTok videos. Like, actually love that for us. And for those...
So I'm gonna go to the next one. I'm just letting y'all see them real quick.
So I've just found out that the Americans have discovered that black...
Shit, and they got some good skin out in Scotland. You know, they probably not eating McDonald's and all that bullshit you niggas here is eating. You know, and you know, they still quiches, but they got some clear skin.
So I've just found out that the Americans have discovered that black Scottish people exist. So if you come across my page, hey Pookie, we're the best type of breeds. And, you know, we've got all the bad...
Hey, and you know, you have brothers up in London, right? So these ain't the only people on earth that got accents, but this is just further proof, y'all. We've been dispersed, we've been scattered.
Saying that Americans have found Scottish black people, and then I look at my comments and they're literally flooding my comments about talking about we found you. Girl, I've been here. We've been here.
Jake, funny, we found you.
Been here for years and just no one recognizes us or our talents. Nothing. I was saying that.
Yo, what is it with all these Americans just finding out about black Scottish content creators? This is genuine real. Like, I feel so special right now. I'm looking through some...
This nigga look like one of your cousins that just got off his Amazon shift.
There's black cunts in Scotland, mate. Just normal cunts like me new. Like, I'm flicking through some of my comments and some of them are still typing, like, y'all are rare gemstones. And it's like, it's weird because, like, when I'm reading the comments, I can actually hear myself in an American accent. It's fucking weird. But aye, there is black cunts in Scotland.
Guys, is there any other black Scottish people just laughing at what's going on TikTok today? Because it's generally just...
And I'm gonna say this, you know, I'm sorry to keep cutting them off, but look at their mannerisms. Look at their, even though they're speaking with a heavy accent, you know, I can understand them clearly, but they're clearly Israelites. Look at how, you know, look at the sass in her movement. She's lively, like the Israelite woman. So despite the fact, you know, they grew up foreign, they're clearly Jake. How they moving, how they bipping and bopping, right? The slang. But this, all in all, once again.
I got a few questions.
Okay, yeah, so he's being funny.
What type of food do y'all got over there? Y'all got like black-owned restaurants? Do y'all got black-owned businesses?
So Jake's stupid.
Full of black Scottish people. And I'm not saying I didn't know y'all didn't exist. Yo, what is it with all guys?
Fred was saying that guys on...
Oh no, I'm not gonna sit here and just watch this, man. I'm seeing all these mad trends. I'm working them Scottish. Mate, see when I done that a couple of years ago, I got all...
He a Benjamite in Scotland.
Everybody else is doing that. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick. Oh no, I'm not gonna sit.
I've done a video like this on this account.
This looks like some of y'all uncles.
I'm trying to be black and Scottish.
He got a lineup like a nigga.
Me and the guys are getting ready for the wee 21st that we've got tomorrow, so I thought, got a wee trim there, look alright. Why not show them?
So I've just found...
I just woke up and the Americans have found me. I was actually so confused on what's going on, but apparently...
And I wouldn't be surprised if many of them, you know, some of us got shipped to America, some of us got shipped to parts of Europe, and some of us, you know, we got shipped all around the world, y'all. And that's, you know, this is cute, this is funny, but this is evidence that we are cursed and that we are those people. Remember, these heathen took us as slaves, and we became the items that they literally shipped around the world. Revelation 11. I just want to start right at verse 9. It says, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. So in this state of not knowing who we are, right, without the knowledge of self, Esau, Edom made use of that, knew that, and profited off of it. Us being dead, spiritually dead, not knowing who we are. They didn't teach us who we were. Right, verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. The gifts that they sent were us as slaves, y'all, to and fro throughout the earth. A fulfillment of prophecy of these curses, that we would literally be scattered among the heathen. Like quite literally. Let me see, what is that? Out of Baruch, y'all? What does it say in Baruch? This is why you got people that look like your damn cousin. Some of them people look like your siblings. Your siblings. Yeah, they're on the other side of the planet. Baruch 3 and 8. It says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God." And you know, like I said, hey, it's cute, it's funny, but in all actuality, it is a curse. And the fact that we're scattered abroad, not knowing who we are, speaking these different languages with these accents, eating these foods, wearing these clothes, worshiping these idols, it's a shame unto us. Which is why, when we are put back in power, you know, you go to things like Jeremiah 31, it says, "They shall teach no more every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know him, from the least unto the greatest of them," y'all. So, you know, I just saw that little trend and thought it was funny. Just further proof for the Israelites. So, that's it. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakach Kodash, honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Wa Akwa, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom.